This one's a little bit different. People ask me questions about the boat and traveling and stuff, so I thought I would address all of that stuff in one video. So there's a lot of details and numbers in this, and I'm going to try and answer some questions that people have posed to me as we've gone along. So, boat details. It's a Birchwood TS-37, and it was built in 1987. It is 11.3 meters long, 11.2, 11.3 meters long, 37 foot, and it is 3.85 meters wide. And this was the sticker that was on the boat when I bought it. Now it says 49,950, and that seemed a bit much. So being a fan of the Hitchhiker's Guide, I offered the owner 42, and not surprisingly, they turned it down. And so I offered 42 and a half, because funny. And the broker was like, oh, they're not going to take that. And I'm like, try it. And he took it. Now, it is wise to get the boat surveyed, which I did the following day. And the moment it got a good survey, I went straight to the bank, transferred the money. It took 24 hours. That was it. From like agreeing to buy the boat to me being handed the keys. Cheers. I bought it at Bray, which is just near Windsor in England. And right after I bought the boat on the 7th of January, I started to hear some rumors about a virus thing. And then we got locked down. So I got stuck in Bray for quite a while, but it's a pleasant little place. And I just amused myself by making funny little videos about crows. The boat weighs about 8 tons empty. It has about 600 litres of water when it's full. I'm not quite sure how big the fuel tanks are, but they cost me a lot to fill up. I think there's about 800 litres of fuel on board when it's full, which is enough to go, I don't know how far you can go on that because I haven't tried it. It's going to cost you almost 1,500 euros to fill up, which is a lot. But I live here, it's my boat, it's my home, it's everything. So I'm not paying rent really, so that's why I don't mind paying for the fuel. And I didn't pick this boat out by accident. What happened was that I was looking at a different boat, and I got talking to a broker at Penton Hook, and he said, what do you want to do with the boat? So I explained to him what I wanted to do, and he said, you don't want the boat that you think you want. You should get a boat with 2 engines, and I know where there's a good one for sale. It's not here, it's at Bray. So I went to Bray, saw this one, and he was right. The boat that I was looking at was a Dutch steel cruiser. It was heavier and only had 1 engine, which I thought was a good thing. But when you're maneuvering in and out of locks, having 2 motors is priceless. I could do this with 1 motor, but with 2, it just means you can put 1 forward, 1 back, and you can turn on a dime. It's super easy, and that's good. This one also has 2 225 horsepower Mercruiser engines. Those weren't the original engines. I think it originally had Volvo Pentas, but they got upgraded and these engines are better. They're made by Cummins in Detroit, and they're about the most common mid-sized diesel engine in the world. And the engine that was on the one that I was looking at originally was a 145 horsepower DAF diesel, which is a perfectly good motor, but it's would have given me less than 1/3 of the power that I've got on this one. So going across the channel in this boat was a piece of piss. It was really easy. Whereas if I'd only had 145 horsepower engine, going across the channel would have been a bit more stressful. And when I get to the Mediterranean, it's going to be nice to have these 2 big motors because I'll feel better. And I can go faster. To get across the channel, I needed a few documents and certificates. I needed my radio certificate, I needed my ICC, and the ICC needed a 70 attachment. That just means that when you're on the French waterways and canals and things, because there's a lot of big commercial traffic, you need a degree of competence, and that's what it is. It's an international certificate of competence. Doesn't mean to say I am competent, it means I've got the certificate, which means I have read about a few things and I've learned a bit, at least a bit, I hope. And this is a portable, rechargeable, waterproof, floating radio. So if I get into any trouble, I've always got this and I can always call for emergency help. And you need to know what to say on it if you are in that trouble. I did that course in Ramsgate at a place called the Dover Sea School. I don't remember how much it cost, but I think it was less than 50 pounds. And the ICC as well was about 50. So all in all, it came to, I think, like 120 pounds to get all my certificates. And whilst we're on the subject of communication, communication has been an issue. It actually has been possibly my biggest issue, because since Brexit, my phone is only capped at 20 or 30 gigabytes of data per month, and I can get through that in a weekend. It's easy. So what did I do? I tried at first to get a mobile broadband. I'll get it for you. This thing. I have one of these in the UK, different one, but same principle. It connects to the local cell phone towers and then transmits you a signal wirelessly. So it just looks like you've got normal broadband. Super fast, but not cheap. I was paying 35 euros for 40 gigabytes. No, 40 euros for 35 gigabytes. So again, a weekend and I'm done. I could spend 200 euros a month on this. So I got a Starlink dish. I got it because I'm a nerd and I wanted to see it work, and it works amazingly well. It was very, very, very easy to install. You literally take it out of the box, put it on the ground, plug it in, and make it just does its magic. And within 30 minutes, it had worked out where it was in the world, had worked out where all the satellites were, and set up everything, and I had super fast broadband. And I pay 100 euros a month for that, and it's unlimited data. Phone calls go through everything. It's just amazing. Now, that only works in France. When I go to Italy or somewhere else, you're moving to a different country, and that has different licensing rules. So I wrote to Starlink about this, and they said, when you want to move to a different country, send the dish back to us and we'll give you a full refund. Now that seems very nice, but actually it's a smart move because they've put their prices up now. So when they resell my dish, then they'll actually be reselling it for more. So by paying me back what I paid for it, they'll actually make a profit. But it's still it's nice of them anyway to do that. So I don't mind. Totally happy with that. And it's been great. Totally reliable. If I move somewhere, because I don't need it when I'm actually driving my boat, because I do have mobile broadband on my phone. It works through the local networks here, but I only get 9 gigabytes per month on that, and I pay £40 because it's still a British phone. Again, Brexit threw a complete wrench in the works for that, because it used to be fantastic and now it's a pain in the ass. You also need to have insurance to cross the channel, because the insurance that I had before I crossed the channel was just for the UK and the coastal waters. Once you leave the coastal waters across the channel, you need slightly more expensive insurance. When it comes to moving the boat through France, you pay I pay 130 euros per month for this vignette thing. Where is it? It's got a vignette, and you put one on each side of the boat in the window, and it's got a little QR code if they ever need to scan anything. But generally they just look at it and go, cool. That's a bargain. 130 euros to go through all these locks is phenomenal. And sometimes the VNF provide like mooring spaces for you with power. Sometimes you have to pay 11 euros a night to be there. Sometimes it's just free and the power is just provided for you. Because if a boat comes into town, they're going to spend money in the town, so it's all pays for itself. It's really nice. And all the mooring spots have been great. They've been super nice, very clean. Some of them give you water as well. In Paris, I paid 44 euros a night there, but that's cheap. I mean, the mooring I had in Paris was phenomenal. It was right by the Bastille and very close to the center, like a kilometer from the center of Paris. So 44 euros a night for that was great. And they were very friendly, very helpful. You can receive Amazon packages and post and everything. And everyone in the marina that I talked to was amazing. Just super friendly. I even did a music video for one of the boat dwellers who was quite close to me, because we got talking and I said I did videos, and she's like, I want a video. Je bois du thé pour ma santé. But on average, you should expect to pay about 11 euros per mooring per night. But as I said, many of them are free, and you can always just tie off. If you get into a town sometimes, there's just places to tie off that aren't marinas. They're not really moorings. They're just places to tie off to. And you can stay there and it's free. The speed limit is generally posted. On the canals, it's posted 5 knots. Just do 5 knots, because if you're doing 5 knots, there's very little wake, and therefore you're not really damaging the sides of the canal with your wake. If you're on a river like the Seine, the speed limit goes up a lot, like 8 knots. And if you're in a super wide spot, it's a little bit faster. Basically, what you do is use your common sense and make sure you're not the fastest boat around. When you go past other boats on the canals and rivers, slow down a little bit, even if you're not required to, because they could be having cocktails and you don't want to be rocking their boat and spilling their cocktails, do you? The most I've ever done in one day on the rivers and canals was about 50 kilometers, maybe 60. And that was quite easy. It just means you wake up, you have breakfast, and you get underway as quickly as possible. Because otherwise, you start faffing around on the boat and it's midday by the time you start moving. So if you wake up early enough and you go until it's almost dark, you can do 60 or 70 kilometers a day. But why? There's no purpose. You do not buy a boat to get somewhere quickly. You buy a boat because it's fun. And I cannot emphasize enough how much fun it is. It's an adventure. Every day, you know there's going to be challenges. You know that it's not always going to go to plan. This is the worst weather I've actually been on the boat in. Problems happen. What have I had? I think the biggest problem I had was the bridge in Montargis, because it was closed. You couldn't go under it. They were doing maintenance, and that's great. But you couldn't go under it. That was it. So rather than go around and try and go some other way, you just tie off the boat and wait for the bridge to open. And I got to know Montargis, and I got to eat many baguettes, and I enjoyed my time there. It was fun. So the other problem I had was in Saint-Omer, where the lock gates were being maintained. They were being repaired. So I just turned around, went back about 500 meters, and went into a little marina there, and it was €12 a night. Beautiful little place, and the town was very nice. So you just wait. In the summer, I think you can get through the locks and you can cover a lot more mileage a lot quicker, because the boating activity is just busier. In the winter, things close down, they do maintenance, and that's all there is to it. So I kind of got caught there. Maybe I should have left the UK a little bit earlier so I could get through. But I've really enjoyed being in France. Everyone's been magnificent. Everyone. I haven't come across one unpleasant person since I've been here. And that's saying something, because I met a couple of unpleasant people back in the UK. Just grumpy. But everyone's happy. And so that makes me happy. I don't have any regrets, and I wouldn't do anything differently to how it has gone so far. To go from Calais to Paris, you need 2 people on board. You probably could do it by yourself, but if something goes wrong, you kind of need a second pair of hands. If everything goes perfectly and nothing falls overboard, or you don't bump into anything, or the current doesn't move you, then you're fine by yourself. But if anything goes wrong, you can get into a lot of trouble very quickly. So I had a second person on board all the way to Paris, and then about 60 kilometers south of Paris to Chartres, a friend of mine, Marie, came with me just for the day. And that was good. I would not have done that trip by myself. Going south from Chartres all the way to here, I could have done by myself. My friend Beanie came with me because it was fun, and it is nicer to have a second person on board. But going from, where was it? Going from Montargis to Nevers, like 100 and something kilometers. I did that all by myself without any problem, because the locks are a lot smaller, and so there's a lot less chance of any trouble. There's also no big commercial boats around. It's just, I'm the only boat around, and there's nothing bigger than me anyway. And thanks for watching this, because watching it makes it worth making. If no one watches these things, I wouldn't make them. I know that sounds silly, but you know, it's not like just playing a guitar in your room. A lot of effort goes into making these little films, and knowing that people out there are watching them is just fun. How much do you make on YouTube? About this much. If that was money, that's how much you make. Here's a look behind the curtain of YouTube. This is what you get to see if you are running a channel. And here's the sort of interesting stuff. So in the past 28 days here, I have earned $9.91, which is not really that much money. So I'm not doing this to make money. I do this because it's fun, and I don't know. I mean, it would be nice to make money out of it. Every person that subscribes and then posts about it or tells anyone about any of my videos, I love, because if one person does it, it expands slowly. And it's taken me 2.5 years to get to, how many do we have? How many people do we have on this channel? I think 1,700 people. So if I go to my latest video here, and you go to analysis, it's gotten 400 views, $1.73, and we're slightly above average. I've got 3 subscribers, 72 hours of time of watching it, which is quite a lot. I mean, it's not huge, but it's quite a lot. And then you can go a little deeper, and you can see where you're getting your audience from. External, which probably means Facebook. One thing that is a bit frustrating, I think, device type, because if you can see here, Most people are watching it on a computer, but 36% of people are watching it on a mobile phone. And that's kind of weird, because if you're holding your mobile phone and watching it like this, you don't see the graphics as clearly unless I make the graphics a bit bigger. So when I'm editing and shooting, I think, are they going to watch this on a mobile phone? And if so, I need to make sure the words are readable, which is a pain in the ass because it doesn't look as nice if you've got big graphics all over the place. But I try and find a good balance. This is my Patreon page. You can see here I've got 5 Patreons, and so every month I make $20 a month, which is, it's nice because it just means there's a couple of people out there. Oh, there's a boat coming in. I want to go and help them. So thanks for watching, and I hope this has been a little bit informative and explained a little bit about how I'm doing what I'm doing. If you are not subscribed, please hit the little subscribe button down there and hit the little bell button so that if I put out a new video, you get notified. And if you comment on it, it's great because it just twists the algorithm a little bit and makes more people see it.